What if I told you a tiny component smaller than your fingernail can control enough power to shake an entire room? Today, we're diving into how a single transistor can be used to build a powerful 100-watt audio amplifier, explained in the simplest way possible, so you don't just watch it, you actually understand it. First, let's answer a basic question. Why do we even need an amplifier? The audio signal from your phone or any small device is extremely weak, enough for earphones, but not enough to drive a large speaker. That's where an amplifier comes in. It takes a small signal and increases its power so it can move a speaker and produce loud sound. And at the heart of this process is a transistor. Think of a transistor like a smart valve. It controls a large flow of electricity using a very small input signal. Just like a small tap can control a big flow of water. A common transistor, called a bipolar junction transistor or BJT, has three terminals: base, collector, and emitter. When a tiny current flows into the base, it allows a much larger current to flow from collector to emitter, and that's the core of amplification. Now imagine this. You input a weak audio signal into the base of the transistor, and the transistor uses energy from a power supply to recreate that same signal, but much stronger. The key thing to understand is that the transistor does not create energy. It simply controls energy from the power supply. So a small signal goes in and a big signal comes out. Now you might wonder, can a single transistor really handle 100 watts? In real-world circuits, a single transistor alone is usually not enough to safely handle that much power, but we can design a system where one main transistor controls the amplification while being supported by proper biasing, power supply, and heat management. To build this kind of amplifier, you need a few essential components: a power transistor, resistors for controlling current and voltage, capacitors for filtering and passing signals, a strong DC power supply, a speaker as the output load, and a heatsink to manage temperature. Let's walk through how the signal flows. The audio signal first enters through a capacitor, which blocks unwanted DC and allows only the audio signal to pass. Then it reaches the base of the transistor, where the transistor begins controlling a much larger current flowing from the power supply through the collector to the emitter. Then this amplified current is then sent to the speaker, which converts it into sound. But for this to work properly, we need something called biasing, which means setting a stable operating point for the transistor so it can amplify smoothly without distortion. If biasing is wrong, the sound will be distorted, clipped, or even completely unusable. So resistors are used to maintain a stable voltage at the base. Another critical factor is heat, because when dealing with high power like 100 watts, the transistor generates a lot of heat, and without proper cooling, it can fail very quickly, which is why a heatsink is absolutely necessary to draw heat away and keep the system stable. The power supply is equally important because all the amplification energy comes from it, not the transistor. And so for a 100-watt amplifier, you typically need a strong DC supply, often in the range of 24 to 48 volts with sufficient current capacity. Now picture this in action. A soft music signal enters the circuit. The transistor takes that signal, pulls energy from the power supply, and delivers a much stronger version of that signal to the speaker, resulting in loud, clear, room-filling sound.